Okay, so once I struggled one-handedly to get it off. So this one is like some of my favorite stamp sets, but they're a variety of different companies. So I've got like Simon Says Stamp in here, Mama Elephant. Ooh, that one doesn't belong. And Avery L, and then plus Tiddly Inks, Newton Nooks, and my paper smooches. And at the back I've got some background stamp sets. And you can see how in this set, like this is the Hero Arts Cling one, it actually fits really perfectly into this container. And these are the 6-inch ones you can get from Impression Obsession, like the 6-inch square ones. And they fit just right into here. So I really like that. Along the side I keep my 2 woodblock background stamps tucked in there. So I really love this size. There is the DVD size, but they're just too wide and they move around too much, so I really like the CD case size for storing all my stamps. Plus you can grab out the whole container, flick through them. This one's starting to get a little bit crowded, so I might have to expand. Don't know where I'm going to put that one, but we'll get there. I'll figure something out. And then, so the rest of this, I've got 12 by 12 plain paper behind. This is something I bought when I first started crafting, regret having because I have nothing to use it for. I just like, here's my stack of 6 by 6 paper pads that I use the most. So I'm really just trying to make envelopes out of my 12 by 12 papers just to use them up. I just hate throwing them out, but yeah, so I've got them tucked away in the back and I just make a bunch of envelopes at once, and hopefully I can downsize because I've also got this just below of pattern paper of the 12 by 12 size, also very inconvenient, and they take up a lot of space, so I'd like to get rid of them. I'm going to do a whole bunch of envelopes soon and hopefully I can just put the 2 stacks together and that will make a bit more space. Maybe that's what I need to do for the extra when I expand my stamp sets. These here are just the lids of those Ikea boxes, and I use them for scraps. They keep them neat and tidy. I can quickly flick through them. So I've got 2. One's for things like I've stamped or die cut already that I just haven't used yet. Refocusing. Yeah, so this one's got some, things that I've already either embossed or die cut or stamped on that are more ready to use. So I've got that one, and then let's see, on this side I keep, these are my spare stacks of Nina White Source papers, so I just keep you can get sort of a 12 by 12 pad and then the like 8.5 by 11-inch paper pad next to it on the shelf. So that's what I've got here. So I've got a few 9.5 like the size of papers that either the stuff that I've got in storage until I use, or like I've also got these October Afternoon, which are like quite a bit bigger, so they didn't fit with my 6 by 6s. So I just keep them stored there. I have some little lunch bags that I sometimes decorate with. Sorry guys, it's kind of dark in this corner. I also keep at the back, there's a little pink lid. Don't know if you can see it way in the back in the corner there, but it's I find that it can get really humid and damp in the corner because it's during winter, because it's quite wet here during winter. We don't get a nice dry winter. So I've got one of these. I'll just pull it out. That will be easier. The moisture absorbers. So I keep them with my papers to keep them nice and so they don't get ruined or moist or anything like that. When they do get a little bit moist, they don't cut as cleanly and you get all the little furry edges and things like that. So I keep a couple of these tucked away in the back where I can't really put anything else. And then shelf below that, I have a few spare Cricut cartridges that I couldn't fit on the bub shelf. So I've got my little Xyron sticker maker, and I keep thinking I'll use it, but then I always think, oh, but I'm using the sticker stuff, and then I never do, and I just need to get over it and just use it. This is my art journal that I just keep leaning there, along with some Tim Holtz tissue paper. These are another box of stamp sets. These are I'm sort of pushing into there. It used to be just like my seldomly used stamp sets or ones that I wasn't really a fan of anymore. Or odd sizes like these little mini ones here that are hard to store, so they can get 2 across. This is also a CD case from Ikea, just a different like fabric or material, sorry. So, but I have had to start moving into here and putting like my gorgeous stamp sets and things like that in here. So I sort of have, and I do have an old Tim Holtz one along the side in there as well. So I just keep my stamps all in these CD storage containers, and it's working good for me. I don't think I'll change my system. And then this is just a little embellishment kit that I've got stuff sitting in there. Along the edge, I've tucked my spare Cricut mats. So these are things I just don't want to get bent. I've got some cardboard that I've rescued off of cereal boxes that gets used eventually, and I've also got some really like the 24-inch by 12-inch Cricut paper. So just tuck it in there. Anything to keep it safe is my main goal. So because it stays nice and flat there, I don't need to worry about it getting bumped or anything like that. So that's pretty much that area, and now there's the desk. Okay, so this is my desk area. I keep my self-healing mat here and then my Tim Holtz craft sheet on top of it. When I want to do more of this stuff, I just shove my Tim Holtz mat underneath of this one and hide it underneath so it doesn't get damaged. This way I don't worry about rolling it or anything, I just leave it open all the time. So that works. Little jar for water, again, just, I think that was a jam jar originally. And I keep this little, this one is not from Ikea, but it's just a little wire cage that I keep all of my Derwent Inktense pencils in. I've got my little spray ball at the ready, a little clock that runs 15 minutes ahead of time, so if I get too stuck into a project and realize, oh crap, I have a little bit of extra time up my sleeve. It also has a timer on there, so should I ever feel like doing a 10-minute card challenge, I have it all set up. And then I just keep a few little trinkets. I've got my little owl here, I've got a little box that lights up and a little canvas behind. This is a little card when I won some stamps from a giveaway Britta Soderski had on her blog. So I keep that there because I think it's very nice that she sent me a little card with it, so I like to look at it. And here are some pre-made card bases. I keep them just sitting here. There's some really older ones that I've dug up and found that I'm just trying to use that aren't really my style anymore, so I'm just trying to make them work. And some more decoration pieces. This is my little Tombow marker color chart, and I've got my little calligraphy quill pen just sitting there in the corner. I usually have some pre-cut die cuts that I had fun coloring that I'm, want to use. So they're just sitting there, and I've got some backgrounds here that when I am looking for a quick background, I've got some pre-made ones, so I use them up slowly. And that's just a project I'm working on right now. That's for later when I do the rest of my haul order, part 2. I will say under my, above too, that's just a kitchen, like, one of those things that holds your cookbooks. I forget what they're called, but that's all that is, and I just leave it on my windowsill. And if I have something of inspiration that I'm trying to use or whatever, I just sit it up there so it's in view. And these are just scrap paper that I keep hidden behind the curtain sometimes. Under the desk, I hide my Martha Stewart's paper trimmer, so it's easy. I can be sitting down, just reach underneath the desk and pull it out, and I'm ready to go. So I love that. Now, as far as in the desk, so everything except for pretty much this top drawer and this drawer is dedicated to crafts. So this is like receipts and boring office stuff, and then here is like just stationery. I do have my color, this is what I did with my inks and stuff sitting in there just a minute, because the Studio Calico ones in sunlight, they change color, so I'm trying to keep them dark. So I just sort of stuffed them in my shelf along with a tape measure, because I always need that for who knows what. I also keep my heat gun. This one is just from here in Australia, the Big W one. So it's not as good as the other ones that you can get in the US, but I've already bought it and already spent the money on it, so I'm not really keen on upgrading it. In the second drawer, this is kind of my, it's the most used, I think, drawer. So I keep crocodile, corner chomper, a piece of felt to make stamping easier that I sometimes use, all my embossing folders here. In here I've got like a little, it's like one of those piercing mats. Some envelopes, pre-made envelopes in the corner there. This is one of those old Sizzix. From when I first started, my mom gave me this. So it's got like a piercing tool, a craft knife, some tweezers, some scissors, a steel ruler, and my favorite bone folder ever. So I leave them in here. I probably could move them out, but I sort of just got used to them being here, so I've got them all sitting there. I also have my stamp majig, and then in here at the back is all my die cutting stuff. So I've got my embossing plates, all my die cuts. This used to be a really good system, but I'm getting to the point where I have too many now and it takes me too long to find them, so I really want to swap it out and probably put it in one of those Ikea storage thingies. But if I do that, then I need to find somewhere to put it. So they've sort of just stayed here for now. Next to it is heaps of stickles. Sorry, I'm creating shadows with my body. So I've got like heaps of stickles and that sort of thing back there. This is my eucalyptus oil for cleaning off gluey stuff, my glossy accents, my cleaner. This is like probably the most used thing I use. Stamp cleaner, Mod Podge. This is my Gamsol, or my version, and I've got some like re-inkers and stuff like that in here as well. So it's just all those little jarry type things that I've got in an old Martha Stewart blue pen. So I just keep all that there because it's within reach and it's just perfect to get to. The bottom one, so it looks messy, but it's actually very organized. Let me refocus. So everything along here, this is all my spare, I keep everything along the sides of the things that I want to keep straight and not bent. So I've got all my 3D foam dots and stuff like that. I've got ribbon from Costco, which is like the super huge big wide ribbon for like wrapping and stuff. An old palette thingy that I just keep on top. And then I've got, these are my Peerless watercolors, the bigger sheets that I haven't cut up yet, and some big bulky jars of stuff and random odd bod stuff. And in here I've got like the twine in there, so if I'm looking for that. I keep my spares here, so I've got some spares and blades and some tapes. They're just like that little tiny spot there, so I keep all my spares in there. I also keep, I've got this little file thingy and it sits there. So my main one that I use the most sits in a different drawer, like that drawer. But the rest of them that I don't use as often I put down here. This, let me change so I can show you what this is. This is from just a stationery store, Officeworks here in Australia. It's one of those filing things. It's got the lid that flaps over, and it's one of those expanding filing things. So I bought this to keep things sorted instead of just everywhere. So